Oh, hey, don't mind the background music just now. I mean, it is a very good game, and Mario Kart. Come on, how many of you guys haven't played Mario Kart? For those of you guys who are going to comment, there's the door right here. If you haven't played Mario Kart, what have you been doing in life? I mean, there is the path of the cursed child, but that's not a path you should follow, in my personal opinion. Of course, you all know, hey, it's me, LuckyCheese7, back again with another Manga Wars episode. Very soon, if you ask me. Pretty soon after the last one we did. And this one's going to be interesting because it's not a series per se. They're not canceled series. Thank you, R2. It is a one-shot story where basically it's still talking about manga, but it's just actually like just one chapter. And that's all it is. And I thought, hey, since we've been doing this unique trend lately, let's keep the unique trend going and tackle the one-shots. But, of course, before I make the announcement as to what those two are, I've got with me some special guests / special friends with me today. So go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Greetings. It is I, Sparda3g, and yeah, we're back already with another podcast dealing with the Manga Wars. What is it? Well, it's actually an interesting, different take. I mean, last time we had the cancel series, that was fun. Now, well, we got something else, something new. But before that, allow me to step over and give it to the other guy who is standing by, waiting to introduce himself.
Hello, everyone. I'm BlueStarSaber here once again to discuss another Manga Wars podcast with Mr. Delay as our host. Because we should have started this like 3 hours ago.
Well, there's a lot of complication with that one, but you know, we're not perfect. I mean, Lucky G did have a problem with the audio, which is strange. I still don't understand what happened. And then there was my end of a bargain with stuff happening on my end, but yeah.
Yeah,
that was supposed to happen much earlier.
That and it's kind of been a busy day on my end, so there's that. So.
Well, if he gets to call me cursed child, I get to call him Mr. Delay.
I've been pretty consistent this year, though. That's the thing. I've been doing good so far, I must. So.
But yeah, fine.
So that statement does not apply this year, at least for the time being.
Except for this occasion of how long it took us to do this podcast.
Yeah, except for this one. It's the only one. As you guys can tell by the title, on which two particular one-shots we're covering, one is titled Mario. No. I know what you guys are going to be thinking. Not the one with the plumber, not the one with Yoshi, not the one with Luigi, not that Mario. No. This Mario is on a different path. A very, very different path, which we will dive into soon. But of course, we get to talk about its competitor, which is Hello Baby. Which, yeah, there is a lot to talk about that one too. Of course, as you guys know, when we do the Manga Wars, we usually break it down between doing summaries, doing characters, main lead, main female lead, side characters, villains, whatnot. Since it's a one-shot, it's gonna be a more condensed version of that, where we do the summaries, of course. Then you get the characters, again, main lead, female lead, side characters. Well, they're gonna be like, since it's a one-shot, it's not like there's gonna be like 5 or 6 or 10. It's not going to be like that. Villains potentially, which you could argue fits into the whole side characters category. Strengths and weaknesses, of course, which we implemented from the canceled series section, the ending, and then, of course, the 3 questions. And in saying that, let's get to the summaries. I will tackle Mario by Masashi Kishimoto, whereas Blue Star will tackle Hello Baby by Obha.
The authors of Death Note.
Yep.
I don't know their names, sorry.
Yeah, that's why I said, yeah, Obha. So, the synopsis for Mario. Mario, a half Japanese, half Italian born in the US, works as a hitman. One day he meets a female colleague, Saori, who doesn't talk to men and is asked to work together with her. And that is all the synopsis is for Mario. It is an interesting tale, to say the very least. It is quite an
I
interesting
do
tale.
find it hilarious. I'm sorry. I do find it hilarious when you look at the like, hey, this is the reference to Mario, and nothing is but Mario, actually, the video game Mario. It's like, is there anything that says like, hey, Naruto, this Naruto volume has Mario in there? But all I see is Mario Encyclopedia, Art of Mario, Mario Adventures. So like, okay.
Here's one thing I gotta
Anything?
say about Mario. Not this Mario, but the Super Mario. I'm surprised there's never been a
Yeah.
Mario series for Super Mario.
That is ironically true.
I mean, there's Legend of Zelda mangas, there's Kingdom Hearts mangas, there's Pokemon mangas, Digimon mangas, but no Super Mario. You know, perhaps the most successful game series of all time.
Kingdom Hearts 3 is now getting its manga series too, which is sucks. But yeah, now I will hand it off to Blue Star to give us the summary of Hello Baby.
Okay, Hello Baby starts off with like, let's see.
No summary, just a little brief synopsis of like the beginning.
The series is about, let's see, a gangster trying to prove his worth to his gal, his best friend, and some sort of mafia thing by doing these tasks. However, an unexpected turn of events has happened with his gal, and he's not sure whether to go through with the deed he has to do, because it will cost him like 10 years of jail, and now something else has come up. Let's see, he may have changed his thoughts. However, as the turn of events goes on, there are darker turns and twists to what's been going on between his gal and his best friend / bro. I don't know.
That's a pretty good synopsis, actually.
Just to be clear, is the guy his actual brother or just his best friend?
I think it kind of goes to like they're best friends, but he treats them like.
Okay. Just to be clear.
Yeah, it's along those lines.
I've only read the chapter once.
Mm-hmm.
I probably should bring them up again because I don't remember any of the names, and none of them have got Wikipedia pages.
That's okay. So yeah, in saying that, let us go ahead and dive right into the main characters themselves. The main male lead, actually, I should say. We have Mario from Mario, and then we've got Kenya from Hello Baby. So Blue Star.
Ooh, okay.
On the two main male leads, protagonists, I should say, because it's really their story.
Mario. Let's see, an American citizen who is of Japanese and Italian descent. Let's see, trying to make a name for himself in the mafia, usually as a hitman. Let's see, his story ends up, he eventually gets this new partner within the woman named, sorry, I forgot what's the name of the woman again. Sorry. Let's see, from his, Booker, sorry, what's the guy's name again?
The guy's name?
Yeah, the guy usually sends him on tasks to do. You know the one. Let's see. Lucky Chi, you know. The dude with the glasses. What's his name?
Oh, Luigi.
Oh.
Luigi?
It's Luigi, right?
You said Luigi.
All right, it's not Luigi. I kind of forgot the name too. Actually, let me look for it up for you. Just keeps talking about your point.
Yes, guy with glasses who has brought those two together to form a various assassin tasks. At first, he does not get along with this woman, Sari. Over time, the two bond, and he starts to see some resemblance to her with his deceased mother. However, luck would run out for them as, at some point they're hired by this complete pervert who wants a minute alone with Sari. However, that pervert, mobster, is double-crossed by his right-hand man and kills him and attempts to kill Sari, but she's escaped. But she is framed for the murder. And now he has been hired to kill her by the main mob's family. Otherwise, he fails. He'll come to...
It's Ken.
Yeah, Ken. I saw that too.
Okay. If he fails, they'll come after him as well. So Mario tries to plan with Ken and Sari to take some money and get out of there and all that stuff. They meet with where they first met. Unfortunately, Ken double crosses him. Spoilers, by the way, sorry, but then again, you wouldn't be reading this Manga Wars thing if you haven't read the chapters, I guess.
Listen to it.
See, but yeah, as he kills Sari and then tries to kill him, however, Sari's still alive and kills her. Let's see, and Mario decides in order to cover for Sari, he'll take the fall and all that stuff. And we don't know what Mario's fate is, but we know that Sari is alive thanks to him, and has been able to talk to men again and all that stuff. Is able to smile and stuff. And the other character, Kinya, a sort of loser mobster with a cyborg arm. Because I don't know, I think this is some sort of punk universe kind of thing from the future. I don't know. That's not important, really. Let's see. Let's see. A failure of a gangster who's trying to prove his worth to his gal and his best friend, and like the mobster and his like gangster boss. He can't go through with a killing. However, once he gets resolved, even though he'll be in jail for 10 years, he attempts to try and have one last night with his gal, only to find out that she's actually pregnant. Let's see. Even though his gal tries to continue to promise to go through this so that she can be proud of him and stuff. However, as soon as Kenya has the task of doing it, let's see, even from unconscious from his best friend and stuff, he had second thoughts because does he really want his child to be fatherless for 10 years while he's in prison for a murder? However, he tries to escape with like his gal and best friend / bro. They are reluctant to leave and want to go to a hospital and stuff. As soon as, unfortunately for him, the mobsters of the guy he tried to kill are coming after him. And just as he's trying to escape, his best friend turns on him and reveals that he is actually the father of his like girlfriend's child, and they've been cheating and planning behind his back, making him take the fall so they can get rid of him. However, it becomes a bit of a standstill as neither tries to kill the other as the mobsters come clear. But just as the baby's about to be born, Kenya decides to do the only way out is to shoot himself. And just as he's dying, he sees that the baby looks like him. Let's see, thinking of a remark he said to like his girlfriend earlier when he said, "I hope the baby looks like me," and she does not want she does not want that. Let's see, turns out we know why. Now, as for which character is better, honestly, I think I like Mario better. I think he's just a bit more of a, more likable protagonist and stuff. Let's see, he's a thug for hire. Let's see, he's pretty confident in his own skills. Let's see, he's at first a bit, hostile with like Sari, but as time goes on, let's see, they get to care for one another as they do more hits together. And let's see, it's also added to the layers, but let's see if like, and he begins to see like Sari's mother, like his mother and Sari and stuff. Maybe just by appearance or just by personality, I don't know. Let's see, I'm starting to see how Kushina said to Naruto, "Find a girl like me," happened in that particular arc, but hey, we're not going there. But yes.
Yeah.
See, Mario is a gangster with great charisma, great gun skills, and there's a sympathetic side to him in the form of his mother. While Kenya, he's a bit of a pathetic, loser to an extent. Mainly because he's trying to prove his worth as a gangster, even though that he will spend 10 years and not see his girlfriend and stuff. But granted, it looks like he's committed to do it. However, when he finds out he has a kid his girlfriend is pregnant, and he assumes that he's the father, he has second thoughts, and he does what anyone would probably do. As soon as they fuck up, try to move out with his family and stuff, his best friend, but unfortunately things go for the wrong term, as he becoming completely unaware that his best friend and girlfriend were cheating on him, and were planning on him to take the fall for a murder, just so they could be rid of him. Anyways, he probably takes the noble way out of this, I guess, in the sense where he decides to kill himself. Well, I'm pretty certain, if you probably found out, I'm pretty sure if most people found out that not only did your girlfriend and best friend cheat on you and lie to you, but they set you up for murder, I'm pretty certain you'd probably want revenge. he does the noble thing and take himself out. Let's see, I guess. Or at least what he thinks is the honourable thing to do. Let's see. No, granted, he still gets his comeuppance against his, like, not only his girlfriend and BFF, best friend / bro, is that the baby that's just been born looks exactly like him. So I'm pretty certain that regardless, let's see, of what happens, so regardless of, like, if they're able to raise the kid, I'm pretty certain they will always have the after-universe karma of, this looks like a guy we screwed over. But either way. But in terms of character, I'd have to give Mario, because you know his motivations, you know what he's about. Let's see, there's a sympathetic side. He's just more likable. And let's see.
He kind of has that Kakashi-esque feel to it.
Yeah. Kakashi-esque feel, but looking like Yamato. Anyways, in many ways, you could argue this was Yamato's job before he became Yamato. I'd say, of the two protagonists, I'd definitely say Mario is probably the better one. Even though, yes, let's see, Kenya is supposed to be a failure. But I don't know. So I guess I just like the more tough guys, or the cooler gun-swinging mobster. Your turn, For Life.
In terms of character, the main guy, the protagonist, I feel like I was more back off, well, not back off, more like a supportive, and my dog is barking because he probably don't like your decision, Blue Star. It's like, Mario, what? Hell no, I'm a Sonic fan. Okay, I think he's okay. But anyway, so in my...
I was going to say,
again?
I'm more of a Sonic fan than a Mario fan myself, to be honest. Anyway, go on.
It's a sad days for us that Sonic has fallen to the grace. Unless you count Sonic Mania, but still. So my childhood has been
well, to be fair, I'm more of a Sonic TV fan and a comics fan than a game fan, but go on.
Okay. That should be that's a little bit uplifting. But seriously, when it comes to the main protagonist, I thought I was more behind with Kenya. Like, Mario is good. I like Mario because he was more of a badass guy. He was more like, well, again, he's like a mafia guy. Kenya was more like a guy that's like more of down to earth that goes to the tragic route, because this is Death Note guy. The Death Note loves tragedy. Well, not really, but I haven't read Phantom Men, so I don't know. Platinum Men. It's a Platinum Men or Phantom Men? Platinum Men, sorry.
Platinum Men, yeah.
Yeah, I have yet to read that. I don't know why, but I have yet to read that. I did read Bakuman, Death Note, and apparently this one now too. So there's that. But still, the guy he loves things that's like more down to earth. Hence why the art style tends to look like one of those seinen manga more so than a shonen manga. That's why the character art design always look like more towards realism than being a cartoon character. Is what I'm trying to say. But like, anyway, with Kenya, he's more down to earth compared to Mario, because Mario is like one of those cases of like, he's a guy that has been living a life as mafia, and then you got this girl who resembles to his mom. So everything changes from there. So I feel like the focus more goes towards the girl than himself throughout the entire series. But I'm not sure if story is one of the things that we're going to talk about it and down the road. But in terms of protagonist, I feel like I was more connected with Kenya, mainly because, again, he's like one of those cases of like, what happens when you go downhill, when there is a moment that you could either, like, there's two paths of downhill, but the other one, he chose the one that is pretty much a worst case scenario. Even if it's like more of a proper way to do it, it's really hard to explain, because like when you read it from the beginning to the end, it does have that symbolic thing. Again, maybe I should save it until we talk about the story itself. The idea is that he was going to be a better man, or he's going to start being a better man. And he became aware of that when he found out that his love interest was pregnant. And because of that, he wants to start doing the better things. Like at first he was going to go with a plan, but then it starts to hit him. He's now going to be a different guy. He's going to be a father. And he's telling himself, like, do I want to make my child as a son of a murderer? Do I want him to live that way forever? Because we all joke about it in a lot of stories. Hey, Sakura, Sasuke, you want to tell Sarda the story how you guys were trying to kill each other? That's that type of stories is really baffling. I mean, it happens to a lot of people, but it is hard to ignore that. You see a lot of stories that tends to be like, "Hey, that person, he's really good, but he's a son of that murderer." Yeah, I know. You always see that type of story. So that's be the case for this story, where Kenya was like, "Should I really go through this?" And he had a change of heart, mainly because of his uh nobility. I'm not sure that's the right word actually. So he's trying to start a new, but then he has to run away, and then everything went straight to downhill. Because if he would have stopped the guy, well, he could have just stopped the guy, and that's it. But the manhunt, would pretty much begin, and by the end, it's really the most tragic thing that could ever happen to him, unless you see a different way. But I guess we'll get to that if we do talk about story in this category. With Mario, it's more of a helping hand to the lady, since the lady was more of a mute until she starts speaking up. And his story goes narrowed down to like a different path when he meets her, because it reminds him of his mother. I feel like that the story, if it were extended to 2 extra chapters, I think it would have been a more exposed and more elaborated with the entire backstory of Mario himself. But instead, it was more fixated to have this connection, which works. But it was like in a short run. I feel again either it extends to like 10 more pages or 20 more pages. With Kenya, it's very down the road, very straightforward, very focused on his downhill spiral to the point that he committed suicide, which that still shocked me. I actually didn't see that coming, but you can understand why he did that. You can understand his path is no longer but down. His path is no longer but dead end. And that doesn't mean, and I'm trying to say a pun, I'm trying to say like you could either suffer forever until he really dies, which they probably won't let him until he pretty much gave up on his own. But hey, his will would die first before anything else, or he would just die right here, right now. And he chose the latter. But it's just so devastating because the guy just went straight downhill. Whereas Mario, he made one uphill for her, and yeah, he goes downhill, but it was ended in the biggest way. So it kind of feels like you're not supposed to really focus on him. You're supposed to really focus on the girl, which is fine, but still. So yeah, I would pick Kenya for this one.
So you're the tiebreaker, Lucky Chi.
Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting because I'm stuck between both of these protagonists because I think they're both really good. Though, and I do agree with everything that Sparta had mentioned when it comes to Kenya. Though, the only thing I want to say about Kenya is that we didn't really get so much of a backstory as to how he got into the gang. I mean, granted, yeah, I know it's a one shot, and that shouldn't really matter. But when you've got that as a thing, it's like, well, okay, like I felt really bad for what he had to go through, especially like when you see where he kind of goes, where he ends up at the end of Hello Baby. But I think if we get like a little panel here and there, as like, okay, so what was it that kind of got him motivated as to why he's there? Is something I would have liked seeing, and I think that's the one upset I think Mario has compared to Kenya in the fact that we at least get an understanding of who he is and ultimately why he's doing the thing that he's doing. We get some context behind that, which is the one thing I'll give Mario, and the fact of he kind of does come off as like a badass character in the beginning, but the further you get into Mario, like you see he kind of starts like lowering down his walls a little bit, and then he just kind of starts communicating with Saori as she does with him. And I think just kind of based on that, because he went from this guy who was like, all right, let's do the job, kill, to ultimately he's there and he's like, no, let's talk. And seeing that, I thought was actually something I really, really liked. And like I said, both of these two characters are good. But if I had to pick between the two, I'd probably have to go with Mario, just on that side. So now, in saying that, we got one for Blue Star for Mario, one for Hello Baby for Sparta, and then of course, me, you got Mario too. So
overall, Mario wins this round.
See, this is what happens when you prefer Mario games over Sonic's.
it's gonna be that joke's probably gonna be going on throughout the podcast, which I'm totally cool with. But in saying that, now we move over to the female leads. Saori from Mario, and then
Aya, right?
Aya the bitch.
I think we know who's your favorite is then, but anyway. Anyway, Sawyer, let's see, as we're introduced, is an assassin, or let's see, hired thug, another gangster, I suppose, or lady gangster, who, when we introduced, doesn't really talk much, but we know that she hates men. So when she and Mario first meet, they do not get along. In fact, I think she pulls the middle finger on him, which pisses him off. However, her skills as a sharpshooter have impresses Mario over time, and he warms up to her, and she likewise reverses back. Particularly when he gives her one of her deceased mother's earrings, she begins talking to him. Let's see. The two work well together. Let's see. Unfortunately, things take a sour turn because, like I said, let's see. One of the mobsters who hired them was a disgusting pervert who wanted to have his way with her and stuff. Let's see. Unfortunately, this goes back to a traumatic past where, let's see, it seems like it was implied that she was assaulted by her father and stuff, and she ended up killing him, and she was covered in red on her bedroom and stuff when they found her. Let's see, and all that stuff. However, let's see, it's not her that kills the pervert, but let's see, the guy's, let's see, right hand, or let's see, his assistant, and frames her when she escapes. Mario attempts to try and run away with her and stuff, but Ken seemingly kills her and then tries to kill Mario. But let's see, Sawyer survives, and then she and Mario kill off Ken. Let's see, Mario decides to sacrifice himself so that Sawyer can live. And while Mario's fate remains ambiguous, she at least, is alive as she looks back at this picture, smiling, thanks to her memories and experiences with Mario. Why Aya is Kenya's supposed girlfriend. Kenya tries to before doing this task, tries to have one last night with her before going to jail, but however, she has been pregnant for the last 9 months and is about to give birth. However, despite the fact that she now has a child, and Kenya assumes he's the father, there's second thoughts about the murder. However, she encourages to do it so that she can be proud of her man and something about her son or child. Which is a bit suspicious because it's like, who wants the father of their child to go to jail for 10 years and not see them for that 10 years? She also gives him a dirty look when she says, "I hope the child looks like me," which is sort of another suspicious thing. However, Kenya fails to do the task, tries to run away from her. She's so scared and acts hysterical as she wants to go to a hospital. However, it's revealed that she and Kenya's best friend, is it together brother Takazuya? Yeah, it's actual brother, according to the description.
Takazuya.
Yeah, he's an actual brother. Have been cheating on him. And they planned to try and get rid of Kenya by having him commit murder and be arrested for 10 years. And they sort everything out during that time just so they can get away from him and stuff. However, their plans are foiled. She's about to give birth. However, Kenya, shoots himself, and her baby is born, looking like Kenya. Kenya. As terms of who I think is the better character, Sawyer. You get a backstory. You know why she is the way she is, why she hates men. You see her develop a nice relationship with Mario throughout this little time we have. Some of it due to a montage, and you can see the differences she is as a character from the beginning of the one shot to the end, as she smiles and thinks fondly of Mario, to being like the originally giving her middle finger and hating all men. And in many ways, she's also Kishimoto's best-written female character.
No, I wouldn't just say that. I think she's Kishi's best lead female character.
Lead female character, fair enough. Granted, I suppose Ino's also pretty good as well.
But Ino's not a main character, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, best lead female character. And in many ways, you wish to see he'd give this much effort into Sakura, but hey. But anyway. While for Aya, she's more of a... She's not really have an active role because, well, face it, she's pregnant. Let's see. She's a bit manipulative. In trying to, get Kenya to try and do the murder, which I should have been suspicious of because no woman would tell their, soon-to-be-born child's father to commit murder and be in jail for 10 years. However, it was all felt to be a bit of at least somewhat clever ruse by her and Takayusu. However, they did not think of the fact that Kenya may be a bit reluctant if he becomes the father, and they become reckless with, try and convince him otherwise to take them to a hospital because of how desperate they are. And it's revealed that they've been cheating and lying. Now we don't know the reasons why. Kenya, why Aya and cheated on Kenya with his brother Takizo. We have no explanation why. I'm not sure unless I'm
kind of left ambiguous on that note. It's like, well,
yeah. So I don't know if I can really sympathize with her. I'm cheating on Kenya. But it doesn't look good because, face it, we have no idea why she did the cheating, why he went together with Takizu, her motivations. I mean, granted, if it's perhaps revealed that Kenya has been a bit of a bastard to her, or like a jerk to her, or just unpleasant boyfriend in general, maybe that's why, and Takizu being like a more gentle, better guy for her, we don't know. We don't know. We don't really have anything to make us sympathetic in this situation. All we know is that she cheated on her boyfriend with his brother.
And for all the people who make comments about Sakura about how she's manipulative and stuff, no. Compare her to Aya. Oh, it's a night and day comparison.
Oh yeah, she's pretty much everything people accuse Sakura of being.
Mm-hmm. Exactly that.
But yeah. Unfortunately, due to lack of backstory, we don't know her motivations and that stuff, and being a bit of a bystander, I have to give this win to Mario once again with Sawyer, as she's at least somewhat of at least more understandable character. At least you kind of get her character.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to make something else. What other point I was going to make? But yeah. Sawyer. I can't remember, but yeah, Sawyer. Sawyer for the win. Or Sawyer.
Well, in the story of Hello Baby, you can't trust anybody. And it sucks. That's one of the tragedies. But we're going to talk about the whole female aspect. It's easily will be Sori. As I said before, with the manga one-shot Mario, it was more focused on her than Mario himself. Yeah, he's a focus, like he's a protagonist, but the target development is her, or the target person to get the development is her. He gets development, but it's more like straightforward and kind of like not a satellite, but like it connects with her. Like whatever happens to her is going to happen to him. With Hello Baby, it's whatever happens to him and his life of surroundings, which ends up being the baby, hence the title. But since Aya was portrayed as a person that you couldn't trust, I guess for lack of a better word, a hoe. But see, that's the problem with your phrasing. It doesn't really match up well to this because like his comrade, his best friend, or as many best friends would like to call them, their brothers, not blood related, but their brothers. He pretty much backstabbed him by saying like, "Oh, I don't want to be the murderer for my child," And if he says that, it's like, "Oh, that means you did it with her," and oh wow. So it's not really that phrase "bros before hoes." It's pretty much. I can't think of a better phrase. Don't trust anybody. I guess DTA.
Let's see.
Because he doesn't win anybody. He doesn't win anyone. He doesn't remain intact with anybody else. And you can't say the same thing with the Mario one, because his best friend that had been working together as 5 years, he's a backstabber. So none of that. So that phrase doesn't even work at all, sir.
My mistake. I apologize for that phrase. I apologize to anyone if I caused offense. I'm just going to say
it's all right.
This comes back to bite me
okay.
5 or 10 years later.
I'm pretty sure the audience is very well aware how we are. I hope, because I don't want easy trigger audience that would kind of be like, well, time to damage control, I guess. Don't do that, but it is what it is. Anyway, so going back to just the whole battle between these two, Aya's mainly just a person that's supposed to be like a woman that carries a child that ends up being, what we just said. While Sori is a girl who always been an assassin for a long period of time, and Mario decided to go out there and have a different life. And he only did that because they resemble of his mom. So it's kind of like you deserve better than this type of living, more so than just always be a killer. And then it becomes a determined factor where he has to pretty much sell her like a whore, which is upsetting. It's like, damn, this is how you see that person. You barely see as a person, you see as a tool. And that just like hits him like, well, that kind of sucks, like doing that kind of way of treating her like crap. So it's all about her, getting out of the field of a mafia, the assassin, the dark world of life. Whereas Aya is more like a person that's supposed to be like the only trust that Kenya has next to his best friend. And once that collapses, it's like, wow, you you want to say that word, but that's how it is. So easily it would be so sorry. I think that's how you say name. Easily it would be her, because at least not only she develops, but she does be a helping hand by the end to save Mario from getting killed by his formerly best friend. And she gets a good ending on her end, while Mario is left ambiguous.
As you guys could tell when I introduced these two characters, you could kind of tell where my viewpoint was going to be with how I mentioned one of the protagonists for female. Yeah, easily sorry, because oh my god, she was introduced as like, oh, okay, talking about Aya. She was kind of introduced as like, okay, so you see her trying to help Kenya out, trying to tell him like, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that, only to come across at a point where, oh no, like she was doing this for her own benefit, not because she was concerned for. I mean, yeah, she was concerned for the kid, but it was more so to get him out of the picture. And again, that's someone you've possibly been with for months, years, perhaps, and to stir someone along for that long, to stir someone along for that much time, that just shows manipulative, how cruel an individual can really be. And wow, like I got to a point at the end of Hello Baby where I'm like, no, like I don't care. Like if she goes, she goes. Whereas with Saori, I mean, yeah, it's the opposite effect where she initially doesn't give a shit about men, but slowly throughout the story of Mario, kind of similar with the main protagonist himself, she starts letting her walls down a little bit throughout some of the missions, with some of the tasks that were given to her, and slowly she opens up to Mario, and then we start seeing things with her character, and that's something I personally really like seeing, and it comes to show you what Kishi is able to do with not only a female character, but with the main female lead protagonist. It really does, and it's honestly kind of shocking when you read Mario and you've seen what he was able to do with Naruto with Sakura, and it just kind of makes you wonder, like if you can do this, then why not do it with the other one? You know, that's something that I've just always kind of stuck with, even when I first read Mario. But easily, I would have to give it to Sakura for this. So 2 for me for Mario, 2 for Blue Star for Mario, and then it's 1 and 1 for Sparta.
So wait, is he giving Hello Baby the win twice now?
No, he gave Hello Baby the win for
okay,
for the first one, and now then he gave Mario.
Okay, sorry, my mistake.
You're good. Which now brings us over to our third category, which is the side characters, which isn't really a lot to say. And you could equate villains in this category too, if you really wanted. So, Blue Star, what's your thoughts on the side characters?
You mean Ken and Teyakazu?
Yes.
Well, Ken is mostly just a brooker. He's more of a very minor side character. He gets the two together, gets them on a task of hiring, and killing and stuff. But soon things go sour for them both. He turns on them. He's fully aware of who did it. But Sue, betrays both, Mario and Saya anyway. He gets Mario to try and convince her to leave. And just as that's happening, he shoots her, then tries to kill Mario. But Saya shoots him, and as he becomes the pathetic fool, he cowers and begs for his life. And all that stuff. Mario kills him anyway. So there's that. While with Teyakazu, he's sort of like the best friend or brother, though he might be his actual brother. Thinking about it, I'm not sure. I need to double check, but hey. Either way, he seems like the usual, lackey guy and best friend, but / bro that will look out for his, top guy, wants to follow his lead. He encourages him and all that stuff. However, as the series progresses, we found out that he cheated, that he along with his girlfriend cheated on him and planned to oust him. However, as it becomes more clear and clear what Kenya's planning to do, Teyakazu loses it. But however, he's unable to try and kill Kenya and stuff. We're in this sort of double cellmate thing. Is that eventually leads to Kenya taking his own life. As for which character's better, well, they're both kind of scumbags, really. But I guess Teyakazu had more of a role in the story, or more of an active role, as he had more of encouragement. He was there for the escape. He was the one that revealed the big dramatic twist. He had much better bit of a plan, I guess, than Ken, I guess. But granted, he at least had a somewhat of a semi-backup thing, and despite how, even though he tried to backstab Kenya, he was still reluctant to kill him, even though it was just because he didn't want to be a murderer in the eye for his child and stuff. But hey, but with Ken, he's just a sort of smart ass booker. He's charming enough, but pretty clever. But he will stab you in the back for money and stuff. And when his life is in danger, and he's going to die, he'll be cowardly enough to try and, hey man, we're friends now, even though you just tried to kill his life. I mean, of the two, I'd have to give it to Takazu. Takazu, yeah. Hello, baby, gets his first win from me. For life, it's your turn.
Hello, baby. Hello, Mike. Takazu. Well, that's the only side cast I can think of. Ken was more like I guess you could call it should I call him a plot device? It's hard to, I'm not sure this is the right way to put him, but he's pretty much, I'm the Mandarin style. He's the twist. He's the twist. He's the twist. That's the thing he's only there for. Like, hey, we're best buddy for a while. I brought her along. We've been best buddy for 5 years. I've been trying to work with her for nearly 10 years. I think it's 10 years. And you did a good job. Now I'm gonna double cross you because I was not holding a cross, I was holding a double cross. Ha ha. And then he got shot like, mercy? And then he got headshot. So that's the story of Ken. He's pretty much a shock value, I suppose. Whereas, what's the other guy name? Takuzu is more of a downhill spiral trend where they're like best buddies still from the very beginning, even when he tried to cut his pinky or one of the fingers. I think it was a pinky, was it? And they were trying to do the best they can to try to live. Like again, they're more down to earth. They're trying to do the best they can to hide and live from the scary thing. Once everything hits the fan, that's where everybody would lose their composure. That's where everybody lose their status quo. Everybody lose themselves to the point that fear beats the crap out of them. And for him, it beats him so badly, he pretty much exposed the truth that he's the father or he's going to be the father. I guess I'll explain that at the very end when we talk about story wise. But either way, he's talking about like he's the one that he was with Aya for a while, and they had slept together before, so they pretty much in a relationship, I guess, I suppose. And that's where, like, in this case, it's like it depends on how you take it. You take it like these both characters are made to be characters that are like you're supposed to like them at first, and then you start to hate them because of what they are. I guess if you're feeling more hatred with the guy Takuzu, and I on one hand that's like, well, that means he's a bad character. On the other hand, you could say he's a good character as in writing wise, because at least you felt something, like you felt betrayed, like, oh, you bastard, With Ken, I felt like, huh, that's lame. But not lame in like, well, come on, what kind of writing is that? More like lame, like, well, I got backstabbed by my friend. That's pretty lame. But here I'm like, you son of a bitch! How dare you do that to your best friend after what you had together?
But you felt more of a connection between.
Right, exactly. It's like it's kind of like Death Note without going too deep into detail. But in Death Note, when the big revelation happened towards like second last chapter or third last chapter, this guy pretty much lost all his composure and all that friendliness just tossed out of the window, and he like legitimately want to kill the guy. I'm like, wow, it changed drastically. But that's what happens when you find out something. Your feelings, everything changes. So with Ken is like, haha, I'm the Mandarin, and then he's like, get shot, mercy, and then he gets killed. And that's it. So yeah, I'll go with Takuzu.
Well, it's actually kind of interesting how both of these particular characters are backstabbers in their own way. They're pretty similar on that respect. So they're not exactly good characters. I'll say
the worst best friends you can have.
Yeah. I mean, I will say if you're going for a more emotional aspect, you could give it to Takuzu. But if you're looking at it as to, okay, so you see two partners and they're working together, you have the entire twist where it's like, nope, both of you aren't gonna go. So you hit that scenario too. So in a way, it's kind of difficult to choose between both of them. So I guess in that respect, I'll make it a tie for these two. So my first tie in terms of this Manga Wars.
On your end, it's the first tie, but since Blue Star and I voted for Hello Baby, it seems like it's unanimous. Not unanimous because you got a tie. So, but it's 3-1 technically.
Yeah.
But yeah, it gets at least but yeah, it's a win for Hello Baby.
And in doing that now, I mean, like I said, there are villains per se, but they're not like...
They're not really essential to the plot.
Yeah, they're not like the core focus of the story, so that's not going to be much of a discussion for this point. Instead, we're going to talk about what the strengths and what the weaknesses are of both of these one-shots. But we're going to talk about the strengths first. So, Blue Star.
With Mario, I believe it is characters and motivations. You know what the characters... You know the personalities of both characters. You know their backstories. you know, the interactions between them, particularly Mario and sorry, I've forgotten her name.
Sorry.
Sorry. Let's see. You know why they're doing what they're doing. Let's see. Let's see. The relationship is the whole point of the story. There's also the ambiguity of its ending. While let's see, it's a downward spiral for Mario. There's still some hope that he might be around. But let's see, at least Sorry, she makes it out and all that stuff. And let's see, becomes a bit more of a happier, better person towards the end of it. I believe that's what I accept. For like Mario, its strength is its characters. Do I go on to the strengths of the other manga now, or
Yes.
okay? For Hello Baby, for it, it's the plot, it's the story. Let's see, it's the twists and turns. It's a tragedy. It's like a downward spiral for the character. Let's see, everything that could go wrong for him goes wrong. Let's see, it's like journey from trying to prove himself as a tough, let's see, gangster to try and, let's see, become a father. Let's see, trying to escape. Let's see, trying to keep his life together, only for it all to fall apart. Learning the dark twist, then taking the only act he can think of to do by sacrificing himself. And in some ways, getting a sort of ironic ironic karma against the people that turned on him, as the baby now looks like him. Let's see, but yeah, as he dies. But yeah. Let's see, that is the strengths of both series. For the Mario, it's the characters. For Hello Baby, it's the story that is told. The twists and turns with it.
I guess that's the same case on my end as well. It's like what you said. It's like, well, we're not going cons, right?
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
No, yeah, okay. So the best way I could say for Mario is what the characters is like pretty
It's more of a
it's pretty
character-driven narrative.
Yeah, but again, Mario's strength is pretty much it was acting like a manga, as in like a manga storytelling, a normal storytelling of like a manga, of a shonen manga, or like a hardcore shonen level manga, pretty much the Attack on Titan level. Like, okay, this could get really dark, or we want to go further back in the time, it would be like Devilmon, which is like felt like a sending, especially with the ending. But I digress. But anyway, so when it comes to like Mario, you know, the characters still portray like characters. They're like a media character, a character written by some storyteller. Whereas Hello Baby, there is more of like drama, a TV drama, a TV short series drama. Meaning these characters are not going to be like very animated or very not cartoony, but more like, you know, like, whoa, what are you doing there? Don't do that. You know, they're gonna be like very human speaking. Even if that one joke happened to be there with the like, hey, listen, you know, all you have to do is inhale and exhale, and that's it. You'll be okay. Aside from that, everything else felt more grounded. But again, Mario's strength is the fact that it still feels like a shonen series. Therefore, the characters are more animated in a sense compared to Hello Baby, because they're designed that way. Hello Baby's strength is pretty much the plot itself. It's a one shot, but a very story driven to the all the way to the end, especially where everything seems like maybe there's a slight chance to go uphill, but then you're realizing slowly but surely that everything is starting to add up into one big giant downhill spiral. It's a snowball effect, I guess you could say. They have like the flashback give you the reason to understand why everything goes down, why everything went wrong, why this guy is trying to like hide the mafia as the mob, whatever, why everything is in this predicament at the moment. And once you get the idea, you probably think yourself, okay, so is there an uphill battle to this? And then once they address everything that they said, that there's nothing going up from there, like, you know, you pretty much get the idea, like they're getting chased. The characters are losing their cool, they're losing their calm, they're about to go, like, they're about to turn enemies to each other. It's kind of like, I want to say it's nothing happening. I forgot what movie. It was The Mist. There was a movie where it's literally a mist, and there's a big plot twist by the end. But I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen that movie.
I think it might have been.
Yeah, it's a really messed up plot twist, but no, not that. It's like the most wow you could have waited or something like. It's really hard to explain, but it's pretty messed up. I don't remember the name. I think it was The Mist. It's not The Happening. The Happening is probably that laughable movie with Mark Wahlberg. But with that bad acting, for some reason he got a bad acting skill. I don't know why. But whatever. What? No. But anyway. But like with Hello Baby, it's kind of like seeing like a train wreck go slowly in the slow motion. It's pretty much like a train wreck, but it's meant to be that way because it is what it is. It's just like a really tragic story, and that's all I got for now.
Well, it's kind of something that I said just now. For Mario, its biggest strength is it's the characters. It's more of like a character-driven story. In that respect, the plot itself is simplistic, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I really don't, because depending on who you are, if you're really looking for the characters and just seeing where they go throughout the story, it really pays off. Now, in Hello Baby, you do see what the characters are going through based on what the plot is, based on what's happening in the plot. So, in terms of development, there isn't a whole lot to say for Hello Baby's sakes, but that is the one strength that I will give it, is the fact that for Mario and Hello Baby, is the fact that, again, Mario works really well with the characters, whereas with Hello Baby, it's the plot, and I feel like there's symbolism on both sides of the spectrum where it comes to with Mario, with whether it's the whole connection with Saori and Mario's mom, or the fact that both Mario and Saori are like both Libras with oh my god, what's it called? Zodiacs. The Zodiacs, yeah, the Zodiacs.
Oh yeah.
Signs. Which I think that's really cool that Kishi implemented that into Mario. And that does kind of say a lot with where he kind of takes that with Naruto.
Oh yeah,
in that respect.
Wasn't Sakura and Aries and Naruto I can't recall what it was. Naruto, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact tones for that one, but I know for a fact that that's one thing that I can say. And then the symbolism in Hello Baby was well, the only symbolism I can think of was kind of like towards the very end when you see Kenya dying, and then you've got the baby, which is kind of like symbolic, like, okay, when someone dies, then there's a newborn coming into the picture. So you've got that symbol. Okay. Old life dies.
And you could also argue it's ambiguous in a sense because it's not like well, we have sex. Kenya, it's not like, well, we have sex, we're gonna have a baby. Say what? It's more like, well, I did have sex with her, so of course I expect a baby. But damn, I didn't think it was gonna come. But then my best friend did it with her as well. Even that's the case, it's called like calling dibs. In other words, that could be in fact his child. Like that's the reason why he's like, look at that. It looks just like me. In other words, even though his best friend did cheat her, he called dibs in the childbirth part. So I thought that was interesting. Pretty much he still wins in the end. But at the same time, it's very symbolic. Because like his life ends, his new and a new life begins as a child. That's still his. It's kind of like Walking Dead, only without the symbolic style. If you remember Walking Dead in the early days, when it was still good to many people, as they call it. I mean, I haven't watched in a while, so
yeah.
But if you remember in the early days, you got the best friend being the one that called dibs, while the main, well, they used to be the protagonist, but the whole, not controversial, but the whole commotion that they hype up tremendously before. Yeah, the former protagonist, I guess I could say now. I don't know what's the story now, but whatever. The former protagonist thought he was going to get the child because, hey, well, not get the child, but got the child. But hey, called dibs. No, he didn't. The other guy called dibs. Or actually, that's not how the story goes. No, yeah, I remember now. The story goes like this. Yeah, there's a different story. Point is, people could go. People could go first. It's not like, well, if I have sex with her and then she will give birth, or she's gonna give birth because she's now pregnant. And then if my best friend comes in, does that mean we're gonna have twins? It's like, no, that's not science logic right there, sir.
No.
Point is, whoever called dibs first calls dibs first. Point blank and simple. It's not like Kenya was unaware, like, what? I had sex with her? Or like, what? We're going to have a child, but we never had sex. If that was the case, then I would be like, yeah. Actually, yeah, I remember Walking Dead now. It's a different scenario. So excuse that one for real. But my point is that the symbolic at the end is what really matters, more so than like who's a child. Even though I think it was pretty clear, in my opinion, that the child belongs to Kenya because of what he said at the very end.
So now, that was actually very well said, Sparta. I will definitely agree with you there when it comes to the symbolistic aspects for Hello Baby. And in saying that, now let us move on over to the weaknesses between Mario and Hello Baby.
Okay, for the weaknesses of Mario, I feel like its pacing is a bit rushed in certain places, particularly in the montage bit. I do feel like while it's good character things, I do think it rushes the story a bit. Particularly with like the montage bit where you see both of the bonding between Mario and Sari. As for Hello Baby, I suppose its weaknesses, lack of let's see details of motivations for some of the characters, like why he's trying to be a gangster, why he's trying to be tough, why does like Aya and Tayako cheated with each other, and let's see why they're turning on their friend and all that stuff. Outside of like they want to just get him out of the way. Let's see, why did they cheat on him and stuff? What did he do to result in cheating? That kind of thing. That's the weaknesses I have for the two series.
To me, okay. So to me, for Mario weakness, it's pretty much, it felt like the story could have gone 3 chapters long. Not exactly the exact same length, but more like one chapter would be 50 page, the other two would be like 21 page. Because they did the montage thing, and they pretty much get down to the nitty and gritty of like, okay, so let's see. We're gonna introduce this girl. She's like boom, boom, boom. She does this and that. And she's very compatible, and now she's about to be sold out to this big guy who wants to pretty much whore her out. And then something happens, and then Mario is being targeted if he doesn't do the mission in a week. And then now they found her. Then they shot her. And then the best friend is a Mandarin. And then she shot him back. And then he shot him in the end. Whereas Hello Baby is all focused on the scenario of like trying to do one last escape, but it was never gonna be accomplished because again, they were followed, they are outrun, they are outsmart, they lost their cool. Everything was just a disaster. So with Hello Baby, yeah, I guess the character in a sense, but again, it was mainly focused on the story wise. So I guess you could say character would suffer for that. And these characters were going to be more of that was going to be more down to earth. So it's going to be debatable on your end if you really hate them, especially with like, oh my god, I can't believe this bastard actually has sex with his best friend's girlfriend. How dare him? Like I don't know. It's up to you how you how you see it that way. So I guess it's all about your investment. But going back to Mario one more time, I think the other thing I had is like as good I enjoyed the Mario one shot. I feel like it was just a one shot good read, but it didn't leave me like a big impression. Say like Tokidoki, I think that's how you say that. The one that we just mentioned back in the last podcast, War, revolving with Komi from Nisekoi. Like it didn't leave me an impact of like good, a strong impression. So Mario, I felt like it was just a decent read, whereas Hello Baby left me an impact. Like even if it's like I know ahead, like in the shot value wise, but the way how it was written, the way how it was directed in a paneling sense. I thought it was very moving, in my opinion. Whereas Mario felt like you're reading like a Naruto in a sinning world or something like that. So that's how I see it.
Like I said, the plot of Mario really isn't anything like that unique in its own respect. And I think that's the one thing I can really say about Mario is that maybe you could have used a little bit more backstory on like maybe well, I wouldn't say backstory, but give Ken more characterization in terms of like because when you look at like the three characters in Mario, Ken's obviously the one that doesn't really get a lot of shine. Maybe that was intentional, maybe it wasn't. I've got no idea on that, but what's one thing I can say? And with Hello Baby, like I said, the plot is really good. The characters, though, I think again they're very down to earth. You can get behind them, but in terms of like growth and progression, if anything, there's really not a whole lot on that side of the spectrum, at least for me. So, given that, I feel that that's kind of where the strengths, well, where the weaknesses lie for both Mario and for Hello Baby, and that aspect.
Okay.
And that's kind of actually all I've got to say when it comes to the entire weaknesses category for Mario and for Hello Baby. To which now we get to the endings of both of these particular one shots. And I'm going to say this right now. It is very interesting on how these two manga one shots are very similar in that respect. Like, I did not actually think about that when I was looking back at both Mario and Hello Baby. Like it kind of took me by surprise a little bit. Like, wow, they're actually kind of similar in their own little ways. But they've also got some little differences too, which we're about to get into. Blue Star, what's your thoughts on the endings of both Mario and Hello Baby?
Well, let's see. Mario is a bit more, let's see, optimistic in terms that Sari's alive, but there's also like the sort of downers, like, and there's an ambiguous of like the fate of Mario, but that gives it a bit of a downer stuff. It's a sort of bittersweet story, while see Hello Baby is completely tragic. It's pretty much the downfall of Kenya. You don't know what happens next. You don't know what's going to happen to the baby. You don't know what's going to happen to Takio. What's going to happen to Anna. But at that moment, but for Kenya's fate is sealed. That's how I see both the endings. One is a more of a bittersweet, ambiguous ending, while one's a tragedy. With a downer ending, of course. Well, it really depends on your preference, really. Let's see, I guess in terms of tragedy, I'll give like Hello Baby the more powerful ending. So yeah, Hello Baby gets this one.
Well, it's like I said in the pros and cons. Well, more of a cons actually. I feel that to me, the Hello Baby left a bigger impression for me in terms of like the storytelling as well as the ending, especially the ending, because the end justified the means in most cases or all cases, if anything. But with Hello Baby, I felt like I was left impacted by the twist and by the final scene, which felt very symbolic. Probably that's the main point. Whereas Mario is straightforward and it's not bad. It's a good ending in its own right. I just felt like it was kind of like quickly done because I'm the Mandarin Ken, and then he gets shot, and then he's like mercy, and then he gets shot too, and then he's just like, what go on in your life? For me, I'm probably most likely going to die, but who knows? Who knows? So I left ambiguous. So on that note, yeah, again, it was like her story in a sense. It ends up being a fine one. Whereas Hello Baby, you felt very conflicted and very hurt by the whole scenario that happens to him. But at the same time, you can see where the message is going through. So yeah, I thought Hello Baby had a better impact for me ending wise. So I'll say Hello Baby.
It's kind of like what Blue Star said. It really depends on your preference. And while the ending of Hello Baby is very, very impactful, I will definitely say that about Hello Baby. With Mario, it is ambiguous, but there is like a slight hopefulness to it when you do see the ending, more so with what's sour than anything. And that's one aspect you can look at it when it comes to Mario. So it's like, okay, do you want the more tragic route with Hello Baby, or do you want there's like a hopeful light at the end of the tunnel? That's kind of where you sit at when it comes to both these endings. They're both really good, in my personal opinion. And since I'm kind of a guy who likes seeing the more hopeful aspects, again, the ending of Hello Baby is really impactful. I am not taking that away from Hello Baby. Like, given with what Mario had, I would have to give it to Mario just on that stance alone. Again, if I had to play percentage game, Hello Baby would be at a 97. Mario would be like at a 97.5. So, but a smidge, just a small smidge. And who knows, maybe like later on down the road, my opinion could change. But for right now, I'm gonna have to give it to Mario on that aspect for the ending. Now we move on to the questions, which is going to be kind of interesting because the first question is, who is the better writer? And this is going to be referring to them as the writer for the one shot and just seeing where they've come since then. So, Blue Star.
Guess it depends on what your preference is, character or plot, I guess, for the writer. Let's see. I suppose if I had to give a win, I'd probably say, but let's see, Hello Baby wins the story. Let's see, due to the story it tells, the more impact it has. You kind of remember the ending and stuff. I feel like, let's see, and that's not to mention, let's see, it does have the advantage of like having both a separate writer and author, so one could focus more on the story and then one can more focus on the artwork. Let's see, but yeah, I'll feel like, let's see, story of let's see, Hello Baby is a lot more engaging, as in its tragic tale. Let's see, Mario is good for its character things, but you're not going to remember the story that much. So yeah, I'll give it to like, let's see. Okay, who's the? Hold on, let me just. Hello Baby. Give it to
the Hello Baby is. I was gonna say Tabata. Obata. Close.
Yeah, I'd say he's probably a better writer than Kishimoto. Let's see.
Actually, I'm sorry, it's not Obata. He's the artist. I forgot there's always a tag team with these two. It's not Obata. It's actually Morita.
Mashima Morita. He's probably
better
writer than Kishimoto, given the fact that his work on Death Note and Bakuman are probably more well known for its story compared to Naruto's for Kishimoto as well. With the exception of maybe Part 1 Naruto. And to some extent, our first half of Part 2. But yeah, I definitely say Mashinori Morita is probably the better writer.
So in terms of writing, yeah, I'd definitely go with Hello Baby. I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with the writing with the Mario. I just feel like maybe if he was asked, can I get like 2 more chapters, or can I get like 20 pages or 10 pages even, and make it like the whole story narrative a stronger impact for Mario? But I'm not sure. I think if I heard right, maybe I think Mario was supposed to be one of the series that he was trying to make it happen. I'm not sure if I read that right.
Let me see. I've actually got the volume right here where he talks about it. According to this, let me check real quick.
Sure.
Is it one of the part 1 volumes, out of curiosity?
Yeah, it is one of the part 1 volumes.
Oh, yeah, he did talk about, let's see. I believe he also had this other one shot where the main character looks like Sasuke. Or at least has the clothing of Sasuke. I can't remember what it was. Some cyborg universe or something, I don't know.
You were just in here. Where did you go? Damn
it. You can't find it?
Oh, it's in volume 11. Damn it, no wonder.
Okay.
12. Okay, volume 11. Let me see here real quick.
Oh yeah, he's also done a pilot for Karakuri, and the protagonist looks like Sasuke to some extent.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. All I know that it was pretty violent. For like one clothesline from hell, and notice only his whole body got raptured. Like, huh?
Okay, so what it says in that was talked about. This sketch is from a mafia manga called Mario that I initially had the idea to create before Naruto. They've got a whole rough draft already worked out, so it's a project I'm still keeping warm, and I definitely plan to draw it someday. I have over, and here's the interesting thing. He says I have over 160 pages, and I'm not sure when I'll have time to work on it again, but I'm positive it's the funniest out of all the stories I've drawn so far. I don't know about the funniest, but if he had 160 pages just for Mario, I'm kind of curious as to what that was for that.
Yeah, maybe it would have been a different story between what we're doing right now. But for this case, yeah, I'll give it to Morita because I'm familiar with his work. I know a lot of people like to complain about what about the last half of Death Note and stuff like that. Like, well, that's true. I mean, I know there's a fault. I don't know how Platinum Man is, but there are strings that he has done incredibly well. Like Death Note, there's a reason why it's considered one of the classics to many because the whole part 1 thing, especially part 1, it's like A+ materials there. And it was just crazy how a lot of crazy twists and turns and a lot of brilliance in terms of like not just to make an incredible hell of a ride, but like just a hell of an investment for these characters as well. It's like, damn, what is happening? No, don't lose. Oh shit! I think he's got caught. I think his name got read. Oh crap! There's only one name. All you have to do is one name written, and boom, dead. It's a lot of investment. But going back to Hello Baby, it's for a one shot. I was really intrigued by the story and just trying to figure out how they're gonna get out of this mess, and they didn't get out of this mess. Instead, they just go dive into that mess even deeper. Mario, you pretty much felt like you're seeing a story that looked like it either got canceled or is meant to be a one volume story like comics from the guy who did Yu-Gi-Oh. I forgot the the mangaka name. Apologize for that.
Takahashi.
It's like that. Thank you. Takahashi. It's like that, like comics. Like maybe Mario was meant to be like comics, just one volume length, but a very long, engaging story. Well, not very long, but like a volume worth long, engaging story. Kind of like pretty much like a volume length for a lot of other series. I forgot the manga name, but point is, maybe Mario was supposed to be like that, and if it was like that, maybe it would have a different light. But for one shot case, Hello Baby just wins this. So I felt like Morita did a more better impact than Mario did with Kishimoto. That is.
Okay. So as for me, it's actually kind of interesting seeing how, in terms of their series, at least the first one, we feel like in the Death and Naruto specifically, it's funny how the first part of their story is really, really good, and then it kind of goes downhill in like the latter part of the series. It's like, dude, what happened? I mean, I'm not saying the second half of Death Note's bad, but it does pale in comparison to what the first half was. It's much like with Naruto, where the first half of part 2 is really good. But if you compare it to part 1, it does kind of pale when you compare it to that in a lot of respects.
in some ways, I kind of feel like Part 2, at least the first half of Part 2, had the more maybe iconic villains than the first Part 1 of Naruto, but the side characters were much better in Part 1.
Well, it was that, and also the fact that in terms of Part 1, like, the narrative felt a lot more tighter in
Oh, yeah.
that respect. Especially when it looks like the first half of Part 2, it's like, okay,
I do feel like Part 2's Ritzy didn't know what to focus on between Naruto and Sakura trying to chase Sasuke or dealing with the Akatsuki. And it tried to merge the two together in the later half, and it didn't work out so well.
yeah, that's kind of where the issue lied with Naruto in that respect. Whereas when you look at Death Note, it was more so because the main draw of Death Note was Light and L. That was the main draw for that story. And the second you get rid of L, it's like, well, where do you go from there? And like, whoever his successors are, people aren't gonna look at them the same way they looked at L. And that, and you could kind of say the second half of Death Note felt a little too conveniences after conveniences after conveniences. Like, oh, like that's how it happened. Like that's what happened. Like, like there's a lot that the second half of Death Note had in comparison to what the first half was.
Mm-hmm.
Like the mind games in the first half, like really like kept you hooked on, whereas you could say you were still hooked onto it, but it just wasn't the same as it was.
Like L.
Yeah.
Or at least they didn't. Let's see. They tried to make the two replacements too much like one aspect of L and the other aspect, but they were both just not interesting.
Yeah. Now, in terms of what they've done after that, we've seen with what the deal was able to do post Death Note with Bakuman. And Bakuman, I've read the series, I've watched the anime. That is a beautiful piece of art. I am not gonna lie. If you haven't checked out Bakuman, what are you doing? Go.
Let's see. I had the chance to buy the volumes, but I didn't because I was focusing on Naruto and Bleach at the time.
And here's the good thing about it. It's only 20 volumes. It's really short. So you don't have to worry about like getting volumes upon volumes upon volumes. It's like, man, get all the volumes, and you're like, whoa. Like it's not a One Piece situation where you have like 90 volumes, and it's like, I don't have room on my shelf. Where do I put these?
Mm-hmm. So, out of curiosity, would you say Bakuman is better or Death Note?
I like, okay, a lot of people remember Obata because of Death Note. Obviously, because that's his first work.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of narrative, in terms of characters, and in terms of like progression of the plot from start to finish, I would probably have to give it to Bakuman for that. But again, this isn't a Manga Wars between Bakuman and Death Note. But if I have to compare the two right now, I will say Bakuman. Platinum End, I did read, and I did like what it had, but I haven't read the story in like a couple years, so I'm a little unknown as to what's currently going on in the story. But from what I read, I won't say it's better than Death Note or Bakuman, but it's cool. I think for Platinum End, we gotta wait and see when it concludes, and I think that's a fair point to see where it stands. And now with Kishi, again, if we exclude Naruto Gaiden, the Seventh Hokage and the Scarlet Spring, like Kishi hasn't necessarily done a manga outside of Naruto. I mean, look, I know we're getting Samurai 8. Is going to be the teller. Is what Samurai 8 will hold upon for Kishi as the writer, and for that, I think is something that's worth keying. Especially if you look at like a certain type of character that is in Gaiden that he did improve upon from Naruto. So if he takes that into account with Samurai 8, I think he could, because again, he's had 4 to 5 years since Naruto ended, and maybe there's a lot he improved upon. Maybe I'm being hypothetical here. I have got no idea, but because of that, I'd have to give it to Hello Baby in that respect, in terms of like overall. But in terms of the 2 one-shots, I'd still give it to Hello Baby, even though I feel the characters in Mario are a lot more memorable in that aspect. So, like, if you're looking for a great plot, it's Hello Baby. But if you're looking for a good character narrative, it's Mario. And that's where I stand for the writer side of things. That's the one thing Kishi has, is the characters. For at least Mario. I mean, if you look at Naruto, well,
that's a whole nother story.
That's a whole and and that shows you something. Because if he can do well writing characters in Mario, it kind of makes you wonder, like, what happened with Naruto, you know?
Well, depending on who you ask, editor, studio, let's see, stuff like that. So, but take it now, we're going with the artist, right?
Yeah, who is the better artist out of the two?
I guess it really depends on your preference. On one hand,
does it? I'm kidding.
I guess it depends on who you prefer. Do you like Naruto's art more or Death Note's? I guess for Kishimoto, his art style is a bit more simplistic, while for Takashi Akabadai, let's see, colored in terms of inking, I guess. You can see it's got a bit more of a darkness to it, I guess. I'm trying to find the right words, but I guess it really depends on your preference. Let's see, I suppose for me, I'm still a bit of a Naruto fanboy in me, so I suppose I prefer more of the art style of Mario. Because I'm more familiar with it, I'm able to easily identify who all the characters are, the differences and all that stuff. Let's see, everyone looks a bit different. Let's see, I can understand what's going on in the scenes and stuff like that. Let's see, now that's not to say that Hello Baby's art is bad or anything, but I feel like, let's see, with like Mario, it's a bit more clear on some of the art styles. Though, granted, I do think, Hello Baby does have quite a few good expressions. Now, granted, I do feel like, due to the hairstyle of each of the three main characters, they look kind of similar in some regards. At least with the hairstyles. But yeah, I'll give this to Kishimoto.
Well, yeah, it's like what you said, it's about preference, but I would go with Hello Baby, mainly because it works with the atmosphere and the tone of the story that I was telling. So it makes it feel like you're in the world where it's more of down on earth, I think. So yeah, it's like that kind.
That's what I was trying to say. Never mind. Go on. Go on.
No, yeah. So that was the case. I felt like I was more in there, more so than like just reading from out here. So in this case, they all have different preferences, especially if you go a different manga route. But like, hey, I like Naruto, even in part 2 days. So I would prefer Naruto art style. Like, oh, yeah, that's fine. Or you're like, when you read Death Note was like a series that felt like it doesn't want to allow any comedic effect, like no funny expression with big mouth or eyes that just lost their pupils. It's like, it's very shock value. But if you read Death Note, it's always like very real, very too serious, I guess you could say. It's like, we're not here to joke around. We're here to be damn serious, sir. Even though there are some moments, but the point is, this tone would never allow that, or barely allow it, if anything. Even if that opening second one for the anime version says otherwise, but I digress. Point is, I think that I thought the art style for Hello Baby fits well to the atmosphere. Whereas Mario can be debatable, like maybe it should tone it up into a little bit more realistic in order to get the adjust to the darker side of the story or the darker side of his world. It's kind of like having a lot of colors and Batman movies, especially these days. It's like, I'm not saying you have to be always brown, black,
I guess
dark coloring.
I guess it depends on the Batman movie. With Chris Nolan, you expect a more darker tone, but with something like a Batman movie, you expect it to be bright and colorful.
Especially Batman Robin. My goodness. Yeah, right. Especially that one. But yeah, it's like that. Yeah, okay, it's not it's not as bad with Mario, but you get what I'm trying to say.
The art style for Death Note and Pokemon is really good. Really, really, really. I mean, my God. Like, it kind of brings you into the world of the story of the characters. And that's one upside I'll give to Hello Baby. But it doesn't really jump out at you. And that's something you could kind of debate on. Now, for Kishi, which is going to be kind of sad when you read Samurai 8 because it's not going to be his art style anymore. Because you're not going to get that. But the one thing about Mario, Naruto, is when you see the designs of the characters, you know, each one is very different and can be more or less kind of unique in that respect. I mean, yeah, sure, it kind of becomes a little too on the nose when you see the kids' versions of like Yahiko and Obito, where it's like, okay, now we're looking a little too similar to the main character, but that's just Kishi with his symbolic aspect. I mean, like when you look at Ino and you look at Sakura, they're two different characters. You look at Hinata, same thing. It's very different. Even Tenten. So at the very least with Kishi, like he at least is able to distinguish the characters that no one necessarily looks all that much the same. If anything, the only characters that look relatively similar to one another is just the parallels to like Naruto. And well, you could argue Kushina and Sakura too for obvious reasons, and Minato and Naruto.
Yeah.
But that's it though. Like outside of that, like you know, it's pretty distinct. It does jump out at you, and I think for that, because you can kind of like explore with Naruto's thing. I think for that, I'll give it to Kishi. Just for that. When it comes to the artist department.
Okay.
To which now we get to
the final secret question that you've been keeping from us.
Yeah, secret. I mean, it's not. It won't be too much of a secret once I reveal it. So, the secret question is: reading the Mario one shot. What does that say about Kishi as a writer?
Well, we do have bench, so there's that.
Well, I guess it shows that he's capable of writing a good story, just as long as he doesn't, let's say, write too long, it seems. Or he doesn't drag it on and stuff.
Yeah.
We have bench.
Which is actually saying
bench.
a lot.
And also you could argue that he's writing female characters when they're not talking too much.
See, I don't even know how I would say that because
I'm making a joke. I'm a joke.
No. I understand that, but and I know you haven't read Gaiden Blue Star, but he actually had to do research for Sarda. So in that department, he is improving. I will say that. But I think the real testament for Kishi as a writer is going to be with Samurai 8. Because that's going to be his big return.
I feel like you guys are going to have to say, okay, Blue Star, you got to at least read this, even though you're pretty much still mad at Kishimoto.
Well, I mean, it's yeah, because I mean, again, you know what scars like the Naruto ending left, and I'm not talking because of a certain specific point. A lot of people like to bring up, oh, you just don't like it because of X. No, I have a whole host of issues with how the second half of Part 2 went. I have a whole host of issues with that.
Yeah,
I mean, again, you have Naruto hyperventilating. No, I'm like, you. It's like backwards development, you know? It's like, what happened?
Let's see, in many ways, the ending was just the final nail in the coffin.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I had my suspicions beforehand. That ending just confirmed a lot of things. I'm like, yeah, all right. There's that. But that's kind of my take. It's like, all right, so we see that he does have areas where he is a good writer. I mean, if you look at part one just by itself, that does say something. And you could argue the first half of part two. Even though when you think of it as like a narrative, it doesn't really like feel all that tight and all that cohesive, if that makes any sense. There are points where Kishi has shown that he's a good writer and shown some points where he can improve upon. Again, if you look at Sarada from Gaiden, he's taking a cue in terms of how he wrote Sakura, and it's like, all right, so there's something there. But like I said, I think the real test one's going to be with Samurai 8. What about you guys? Like, what's your guys' stance for Kishi?
Honestly, he was good at part one, part two, pretty good. Though granted, you could argue the quality went down a little bit. Let's see, second half of part one, it was just a mess. In some ways, it had more twists and turns of like the Clone Saga of Spider-Man. Let's see, he's good with like male characters, female characters, not so much. Let's see, he focuses too much on romance for the female characters and too much on bromance for the male characters. But he can deliver quite a few good action scenes, some very good villains, and let's see, pretty good artwork. That's my stance on Kishimoto, I guess. But honestly, I just still cannot forgive him for the ending of Naruto. It was the most disappointing moment of my life at that point.
Oh no, I completely agree with you there.
Let's see. I'm sure there are probably worse manga endings or more disgusting ones out there, but that's just the one that just stands out to me right now as like the first manga series I ever read.
Well, I mean, it's really hard to say. I know his next work, Kishimoto's next work, Samurai 8, is coming very soon. But this is like 5 years after he was done, or nearly 5 years after he was done with Naruto. His head has rested up a lot from a very long period of working on one series that, arguably has stretched out way too long than it needed to be. So maybe now he will have a much better mindset, and maybe, who knows, like he has been practicing to how to write in a more elaborated, consistent, and more detailed storyline from here. Like maybe he has got improvement. I don't know. I can't say. I'm only guessing because hey, his work hasn't showed up yet. It's going to show up soon, and we can't really judge it by a first chapter. Like, oh my god, first chapter was awful, and then we come to the conclusion he sucks at writing. I knew it, but we can't be that judgmental like that. Especially it's just only first chapter. Give it like 10 chapters, and maybe we'll find out if it's really good or really bad.
I think.
Right, exactly. Something like that needs to be justified in order to tell us, okay, this story is going to go places. But when it comes to like these period of time before his next work, Kishimoto does have good moments, can write good scenes, can do good scenes, can draw good scenes. It's just when it comes to storytelling, it's really hard to say because Naruto was his main first work. It was first and main biggest one. Like I strongly doubt Samurai is gonna top it at all. Yeah, like in terms of famous, huh?
Yeah, it's just you just usually remember for your first work. It's kind of like with like J.K. Rowling and George Lucas with Harry Potter and Star Wars. No matter what,
unless you're Togashi, who had Yu Yu Hakusho, and then got Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah. True.
Well, maybe it's Toriyama with like Dr. Slump and then later Dragon Ball.
That's point.
Yeah, that too. The only one I know to have, I know the only one I could think of that doesn't have a successful story in terms of like making another work will be the guy who done Rurouni Kenshin, because everything after that has never been a big hit or it doesn't last long enough and then it gets canceled.
And then there's controversy with his recent dealings, but hey.
Well, yeah, there's that. But
Hiro Mashima. Let's see, his first one probably remains the most well received, while his second one's more popular, has a bit more divided opinion.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah,
Right.
go.
And
Okay.
then Eden Zero is still on up for grabs, so we gotta wait until further notice. But it's definitely getting its attention, so that's a good sign for Mashima, whether you like the series or not. But going back to Kishimoto and his writing and everything about his like where the future stands for him. I mean, there's a good potential he has improved. There's a good potential he could go back to how part one Naruto was written. I know a lot of people like to argue about like, well, he had a helping hand. He had a filter, quote unquote. His name is I forgot his name actually, but he
Is
was
it
the editor.
Yahiki? I think it's Yahiki. I think.
Something I forgot. It's his editor that has been going on all the way to when Sasuke got his Mangekyo Sharingan. That's pretty a long period of time.
That
And
is.
then that's where around that time where the series starts to go fall downhill for many people, and then it goes crazier and crazier for the last two arcs. But that's a debate on another story. So when it comes to Kishimoto's writing, I'm willing to give it a chance, and I'm willing to see what he can do after nearly 5 years of resting. With Morita, the same duo with what's his name? I want to say I can't try
Obata?
not to say Takashi. Oh, Obata. I almost say Tabata again.
Well, I
You know, they always
suppose.
been working together.
Sorry, go on.
They have been working together since ever. Death Note was pretty much their well known name. Arguably, Bakuma is the more accomplished in terms of reputation. Death Note has a strong reputation too, but it's like Death Note is more like a thriller, I guess. And Bakuma is known for like the interest of how the
And it's a bit of
wow,
a
the
slice
manga
of life.
industry,
It's a bit
right?
of
But
a
it's the
slice.
more of right, but it's the more of the industry that got their interest, the ratings, the how they get ranked up, how the genre could actually determine the rankings, how they handle the fan mails, the fan opinions. It's like it felt more down to earth, and even the editor in chief, the newest editor in chief, I forgot his name too. But it was a interview. I think I forgot who did the interview, but recently, they question if Bakuma has any is like pretty close to realistic. Is it really accurate to how it demonstrate the world of mangaka, at least in Weekly Shonen Jump? The guy said nearly. So pretty much everything we see is pretty much nearly accurate. It's obviously has a dramatic effect. The dramatic effect is the whole. Oh, look at the table of content. They put me front of One Piece. I beat One Piece. Yeah, that kind of dramatic sense. But you gotta have a goal because it's media. Media determines a goal. Media needs a goal, needs a purpose. But stuff like that will interest a lot of readers, audience, to know about the manga industry. Whereas Death Note is all about the thrills and chills throughout the entire story. I don't know how Platinum Men is. One day I'll probably have to read it. I could read them from the Weekly Shonen Jump app, which is cool. All the chapters are there. I believe I gotta double check it, but it is cool that you could read them. I think so. I'm gonna definitely check it out one day. But so far, I'll say for Kishimoto, give it another try. Maybe he has improved. It's been 5 years, so anything is possible. Man, same thing could be said for movie directors. Just found out recently about one director just had a hell of improvement. Now, the next thing I know, the guy who did some weak movies that pretty much was like okay-ish and one pretty decent, but not in groundbreaking. For all I know, he probably end up being like, "Oh my god, this is the best thing since Christopher Nolan introduction to the Dark Knight." I don't know. You never know. You never know.
That is actually very well said, Sparta. I will say that with 100% certainty that was.
I completely forgot what I was going to say now and stuff, but hey. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Something about. No, I've forgotten. Because Full Life rambled on, sorry. Even though it was a good ramble, but hey.
I'm so sorry.
I'm joking.
I'm sorry.
Happy people.
Yeah, let's distract ourselves, but that's the best ending.
Oh yeah, best ending, but yeah. Oh yeah, Kishimoto. Oh yeah, I remember now. I suppose if M. Night Shyamalan can make a comeback, maybe Kishimoto can.
Right, I didn't know you was asking us or anything. I was like,
Oh,
oh, you kind of abruptly just ended your sentence. And like, okay, what the hell?
yeah, I'm just making a
All right.
statement. I suppose if
Yeah,
as
but it
long as
felt
just
very broken. Your
but
tone
it's like,
didn't leave anything. It didn't leave
oh
a
yeah,
closure. It
it
just
was
felt
like
like,
which no, I remember now because when you were going
okay.
on, I remember like when you were going on like you're giving Kishimoto a chance after 5 years, and I was going to make a comment saying during that thing, but I forgot to say it because you're just going on a bit. I was saying, well, if M. Night
Mhm.
Shyamalan can make a comeback with Split, perhaps Kishimoto can make a comeback with Samurai 8.
Yes, very much so. I actually have to agree with both of your points. Honestly, when it comes to that, and that's actually all there is to when it comes to this very interesting Manga Wars episode. Again, it's our first one-shot Manga Wars episode, which again we've been keeping this trend going of let's making it kind of unique. And I think the winner overall, I'm going to say, depends on your preference. That's kind of how good these two are, at least on my end of the spectrum. But what about you guys? Like overall, who would you give the recommendation to for the two?
Bench.
I
Bench.
suppose it depends on the person. If they like a more upbeat story, I introduce them to perhaps Mario. If they like a more depressing downer story, I would give them like Hello Baby. It depends on person to person. Sorry, is
So
that
it's
the
going to be a
question?
tie then.
That's
Yeah.
good enough, actually.
Well, would you look at? Wait, what did you say, Sparta?
No, I'm saying what he's saying so far. It's good. It's a good way to put it. Like it is depending on your role. It's like Mario is dark, but it's not it's not in the depressing realm of dark. It's like it's dark because people getting killed, things happen, shit happens, backstabbing moments happens. Whereas Hello Baby is more pronounced, so therefore you actually feel so sentimental uh with the main character due to the downhill spiral ride. So it's up to you in that case. I mean, like I said, I already said my part, like saying that Hello Baby would be my preference in terms of like what I would like to say what's the better one out of the two. But I can see where a lot of people would probably take a stance like prefer Mario just mainly because it's more on a lighter tone or more like at least it could speaks to me in an animated way. Whereas Hello Baby is like reading a novel coming out as a one shot. So there's that.
Yeah. So unanimously, I guess we can all agree that it's a draw, which is at least going back to Pandora Hearts. It's the first time we've gotten a draw since then.
Oh
So
yeah. And this time, Full Life's a part of the discussion.
yay! Sparta was able to join our first tie.
Woohoo! I still made it into a draw somehow, some way.
Yeah, right. And in saying that, you guys are probably wondering, well, what's the next Manga Wars episode, given how we usually do this at the very end of it. The unique trend is still going to keep going. I mean, come on. It's been an interesting year so far in terms of how I've been handling Manga Wars. So we're going to do a Manga Wars special. And you're probably wondering, what is a Manga Wars special? Like, what's so different about a special compared to what you guys have been doing right now? Well, again, this is episode 7. I thought, okay, after 7 episodes, we'll do a special. And here's where the Manga Wars special comes in. This is the part of the Manga Wars side of things where the rules can be bent a little. Now, the general rule is both series have to be completed, and the two series can't be from the same author. Now, in saying that, the special will still be completed because I still want to keep it in that realm. Because otherwise, you're gonna have people like asking for, I don't know, Naruto versus My Hero Academia, Black Clover versus, I don't know, Bleach, for all intended purposes. Let's go with that. So I don't want it to go to that extent. Because then it's like, well, it's not fair because one's complete and one's not complete. So it'll still be complete, but the one rule that's going to be broken is that this can be tackled. Like, the two series can be from the same mangaka. That's what I'm going to say. And in saying that, the Manga Wars special, and you could say it's kind of been hinted at throughout the podcast, is, funny enough, going to be Naruto versus Naruto Gaiden, the 7th Hokage, and the Scarlet Spring. Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Well, 700 chapter versus 10 chapters. That's
right. It's, well, and you guys can probably guess why I'm going to do it that way, but yeah, that's what the next Manga Wars is going to be. It's not going to be an episode, it's going to be a special. So that's going to be something to look forward to. And I'm also kind of doing it purposely, so whatever we're going to do next kind of gives us time to prep for the next big one.
So what's the next big one again?
I will make the next big Manga Wars announcement later, after we do the special.
Okay, what's the special again?
The special is Naruto versus Naruto Gaiden.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
I see what you did. You have forced Blue Star to actually read the best piece of the story time telling, or whatever how you say it. Is that it is Boruto. Well, actually, Naruto Gaiden, but still Boruto related, a prequel before the movie. Haha, we beat you, Blue Star.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you make a bet with me, even though I lost. But this is what happens when you do it.
I know it's true. It's like you know what? We need to figure out how to try to read guidance.
You have been cheekadized. You have been cheekadized from Kaguya wants to be confessed, or as the other word, love is war, where you didn't even know you're turning into a monster. Aha! You've been fooled.
High five, Sparda.
I could just not appear next Manga.
Sparda, high five.
Oh no! Oh, you're.
We're finally gonna get him to read, and we promise you, he will break.
Alright, fine. It's not like I didn't know I'd break my promise of never reading anything Naruto again anyway.
This will be our compensation. Let's see, it could be a part 2 to the joint training arc, because I like picking on him for
that. Fine.
The 6 paths of quirk.
Don't you? Okay, if you start, I will start reading Black Clover.
No.
Or read Kingdom.
You do that, I will go Sasuke on you. Use Amaterasu and then use my katana and be like, alright, fine.
Yeah, you have to come to the UK before that.
There might be some individuals out there, but anyway, we're just rambling on right now.
But yes, fine. Let's see. Naruto versus Naruto Gaiden, even though they're technically the same thing.
Yeah. Theoretically speaking, they kind of are, but yeah, that'll be the next one. It's going to be a special from the same author, no less, which will be interesting on that account. But overall, you guys, that's kind of pretty much all we've got for this particular Manga Wars episode. Sparda, Blue Star, it was really great having you guys on board again, as usual, for the Manga Wars episode where we just sit here and discuss about 2 series and just talking about their strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, it was fun. It was definitely a fun time. This is a good change of pace. Like I said before, I mean, like, hey, we did the cancel series. That was a good change of pace, but now we even gone different pace. That is just one chapter. None of them got canceled. They just got one shot. Yes, I said it. They got one shot, and they made it into one shot. And it was fun. I enjoyed that, and I'm looking forward to the special. What about you, Blue Star?
Sorry, what? What's it called?
I don't know. I was just saying my MPs. I was just saying my MPs, and I'm like,
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I must admit, it's been fun. Let's see, reading these 2 one-shots. Heck, I had to pretty much read them out loud to both of you during the week before. That's why we're doing them so early. Let's see. Yes, I read out manga and comics to these 2 out when when we're off call and stuff. But yeah, I enjoyed them. It's given me it's given me an interesting perspective on Kishimoto after 4 to 5 years of being angry at him. Granted, I'm still angry at him. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have a bit of a heck of a time reading. The next special with Naruto Gaiden. But I suppose I will at least give Samurai a chance. And I'll probably do a podcast with these guys when they finally bring up the discussion for it. But hey, but yeah, I'll see you guys next time. BlueStarSaber signing off. Also got me interested in reading Death Note and Pokemon. Even though I've only seen 13 episodes of the original Death Note anime and the 2017 film.
He saw
We
the
don't
good
talk
points of Death Note. Well, minus the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah. Bye for now.
Yeah, outside of that, you guys, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna get you 7.
Sparda3g.
Darksaber. Sorry.
And we will catch you guys next time for the special. That's gonna be exciting. Peace.